Let's begin by just keeping our eyes closed. Allow all of the senses to withdraw inward. So there may be sensations from the outer world. Sounds, feelings. Something's cold or hot or soft or hard. Smells. But allow the internal organ of sensation and perception to pull away from those sensory stimuli in the outer world. And to pull inward. Bring the awareness, the consciousness to the breath. Don't try to change it. Don't manipulate it. Just allow the awareness to merge with the breath. As it flows in and as it flows out. Each time you notice your awareness drawn back outward, whether by a sound, a smell, or any other external sensation, just keep bringing it back. Just keep bringing it back to the breath. And as you exhale, on each exhalation, allow yourself to just let go further and further, deeper and deeper. Let go of another emotion you carry, anger, pain, grudge, expectation. As you exhale, just let them go. And let go of the identity in the self that has those emotions. The identity of the self that feels angry, that feels hurt, that holds on to the expectation. As you exhale, just breathe it all out and notice how free and how light you can feel. Just keep letting go, deeper and deeper, on each exhalation. Keeping the awareness on the breath. If it wanders for a moment, don't worry, just bring it back. And as you exhale, as you let go, allow yourself to just sink deeper and deeper into the center of the self, the core of the self. Freer and freer, lighter and lighter with each exhalation. As we let go of that which is binding and chaining us to the superficial and shallow levels of our lives. And as we breathe that out, we sink deeper and deeper into the core, the truth, the depth of who we are. Just keep bringing the awareness back to the breath. As soon as you notice it's wandered, just gently bring it back. Allow that awareness to just stay merged with the breath. As each exhalation carries that which we're holding on to from within, carries it out. Breathe it out. Ever so gently, bring the palms of your hands together and rub them against each other at chest level. And then take the palms of your hands and cup them gently over your closed eyes. Slowly open your eyes into the palms of your hands. And then lower your hands. So we're going to begin today's session with questions that have come in. And then we'll move into the theme of living in harmony with the environment. We're probably not going to have time to get to all of the questions, but hopefully a lot of them center around the same themes, and those that we don't have time to get to now, we'll keep, in each session, keep trying to address as many as we can. Can you teach us some meditation techniques? So that was good. We'll do more meditation this afternoon as well. But the only point to mention on that is, don't worry too much about the technique. We just did one focused on the breath. You can focus on a mantra. We'll do one slightly different later today, another slightly different one in the morning. But the most important thing is that what meditation does is just gets us back in touch with who we really are. Meditation does not create something. So it's not that there's a technique that's better than another one. What meditation does is unpeel the layers of that which is not self. So our identities, the body we identify as, the history we identify as, all of that which we're holding on to. We identify all of that as self. So if I went around the room and I said, all right, who are you? Who are you? Who are you? What most of you would give me is your name and where you're from. Maybe we could go a little deeper and you tell me a bit about your childhood and what you suffered from, what you're going through, your emotional state. But none of this is actually who we are. when I first came to India, I'd been there just a few weeks, and Puja Swamiji one day held up a pen, and he said to me, "You are not this pen." And I laughed because, of course, I was a PhD student. I knew I wasn't a pen. And he didn't laugh. And he said, "You laugh because you think that what I've just said is really obvious and silly." And he said, "You know you're not a pen. But you still think you are that body. You still think you are that identity. You still think that you are this name and this family and this culture and this history and all the things that have happened to you." He said, "You are no more those things than you are this pen." So what meditation does is it gets us in touch with who we are. It peels back the layers of what we're not. And that's really all that matters. Different people may find different techniques more effective for them. That's fine. Whatever works for you. There's a great story of 3 men who are stranded on an island, and naturally they're panicked, and they pray and pray and pray to God to save them. They're hungry, they're thirsty, nothing on the island. And one day they wake up and there's a canoe right on the shore, and they're ecstatic, and they jump in the canoe and they row the canoe back to the mainland. They're so happy that God has saved them. And a few weeks later, someone sees them walking through the market in the village, and they've got the canoe on their heads. They're walking in a single file line, holding the canoe on their heads. And the person says, "Well, why are you carrying this canoe on your head?" And they say, "Oh, this canoe, it saved our lives, and we were stranded on this island, and then the canoe came and it saved us." And the person says, "Well, that's really great, but why are you carrying this canoe on your head?" And they say, "Oh, this canoe, it saved our lives, and we were stranded, and now canoe brought us to safety." But the problem is that their attachment to this canoe, as effective and wonderful and miraculous and divine as it was, has now actually rendered them unable to be able to do and to live as they should. Because you can't really do much if you've got your hands up holding a canoe on your head. The canoe served a purpose, and the purpose was to get them across the water. And it doesn't really matter whether it was a canoe or whether it was a yacht or whether it was a pair of jet skis or whatever it was. What mattered was it needed to get them across the water. And that's the same for our meditation techniques. We become sometimes very, very stuck with the technique. And the problem becomes that we hold on to the technique like these men hold on to the canoe. The point is to just take us across. Take us from not self to self, not real to real. But we shouldn't worry too much about whether it's a canoe or a raft or a yacht or jet skis, as long as we can maneuver them. And as long as they work, that's really all that matters.